The San Antonio Spurs almost ended the year of 2022 with the win, but unfortunately they weren't able to do that as the Dallas Mavericks won on Saturday evening, December 31st, by 1 point. So what's up, everyone? This is Paul Garcia, Project Spurs. Let's do our last post-game recap of the 2022. There's like a bunch more games in 2023. All right, so let's jump into this game between the Spurs and Mavs. It was actually pretty close in the first half, as you can see there. Dallas and San Antonio are kind of jostling for who was in the lead there the first two quarters. But then in the third quarter, Dallas really comes to life here, and they get a huge lead on the Spurs. They actually go up by as much as 17 points, and it looks like they might run away with this game. But no, the Spurs actually start to answer back, and they actually get the game all the way down to 1 point there is what they end up losing by. But it really went down to the wire where the Spurs could have almost forced overtime. A lot of things had to go right for them, and unfortunately they didn't. Like, for one thing, Trey Jones had to make a free throw, then miss a free throw, get the rebound back, and try to make two more free throws to send the game to overtime. He almost did all of that. He actually missed a free throw on purpose, got his own rebound, got fouled, made the first free throw, and then the Spurs were 1 point away, and then he ended up missing that second free throw. So it's just a tough night for Trey in that situation. Though again, you give him credit for actually getting the Spurs into that situation. So again, despite Luka Doncic having a great night for Dallas, which we'll talk about here in a bit, the Spurs battled back. They really had a chance to overcome this deficit that when they fell behind by 17, and they fought there all the way down to the wire. And this team has been playing much better basketball ever since November. In December, they actually had a pretty good month. All right, so now let's go ahead and look at this game for the Spurs' side. Keldon Johnson puts up another 30-point night for him, 2 30-point games in a row now. This time he did a lot more with his three-point shot. He ends up making 4 threes in this game, 12 of his 30 points from the three-point line. Of course, he continues to attack, so he gets 8 points in the paint, gets 6 points from the free throw line. He also made a few mid-range jumpers there. Jeremy Sohan, the rookie, just continues to impress with his aggressiveness on offense, especially getting like put-back tip layups, things like that. So he ends up with 10 points in the paint of his 20 points. He made 2 threes in this game, and then of course that one-handed free throw is working for him. He makes 4 free throws, especially he made 2 down the stretch there in crunch time. Jakob Poeltl had a great night, which we'll talk about in a little bit overall. So he ends up with 19 points in the night, 14 points in the paint, and 5 points from the free throw line. That was big for him. Trey Jones, like I mentioned, 18 points for the night, 8 points in the paint, 6 points from mid-range, 4 points at the free throw line, and then Zach Collins off the bench there with 13 points, 8 points in the paint for Zach. The Spurs, the 2 areas where they really had a huge advantage over Dallas was in paint scoring. They outscored the Mavericks 64-50 in paint by 14 points, and then also at the free throw line, they outscored Dallas 23-12 and won that battle by 11 points. We go to the Mavs, and I mean the Spurs actually. Luka had 22 points after the first quarter, so he was technically on pace for an 88-point night. So actually, him getting 51 is actually, not it's, I guess it was an improvement for the Spurs, but no, he ends up. Luka's just great right now. I mean, he's on a roll right now. Ends up with 51 points in the night. 18 points from threes, so 6 made threes, 12 points in mid-range, 12 points in the paint, 9 points from the free throw line. He's just all over the place with the scoring right now. And he's not just doing to the Spurs. I mean, he just had a 60-point game against the Knicks recently. So, I mean, Luka's just on fire right now. Christian Wood there with Dallas with 25 points. Really had some wide open spot up threes, playing off of Luka. So 12 points in the three-point line, 10 points inside. Tim Hardaway Jr. with 14 points for Dallas. Spencer Dinwiddie, 11 points for Dallas. And then the big area where Dallas won was the three-point line. They won that area by 18 points, 42-24. Then also the mid-range, they won that battle 22-14. As far as fast break scoring, the Spurs won that battle by 10, 14-4, and Dallas is not a team, you can tell, that does not want to push the break at all. Like, they just walk the ball up almost every single time, so that was an advantage for the Spurs. On the other side, though, because Dallas is played so slow and so methodical, with Luka pretty much having the ball in his hands all night, they don't turn the ball over much. They only had 5 turnovers in the night, and you see that there with the Spurs' points off turnovers. They only had 4 points off those 5 Dallas turnovers because they just couldn't get the Mavericks to turn the ball over. Dallas had a good advantage there by 15 points. When we look at the shot charts for both teams, I mean, this was just a game without defense. No defense was allowed in this night. The Spurs continued to do what they've been doing lately in these last 4 or 5 games, which is just attacking in the paint, especially with a player who shoots more of their outside shots, and Devin Vassell out for this game again due to injury. So the Spurs take 67% of their shots in the paint. They make 56% of them, so that's not it's an efficient number, but not as good as you would want. They shoot well from 3, 42% three-point accuracy, but again, they just didn't put that many attempts up. Only 22% of their shots came from there. And then they had their best night shooting the mid-range. They made 78% of their mid-range shots, which is a season high for San Antonio. On the other side, Dallas took only just 44% of their shots from the paint, and they made 66% of them. So again, for them, they didn't take enough shots there. Dallas also took 40% of their shots from 3. They shot well there, 41%. And then from the mid-range, they took 60% of their shots there, and they made them well, 79% from the mid-range. All right, so let's continue here with this game. All right, so normally I do three standout players, but I really want to give Jeremy Sohan some credit because according to my model that I use box score stats, and then I plug them in, and Trey Jones barely beat out Jeremy for this. And the reason I want to give Jeremy some credit is because he not only did this on offense, what I'm about to go through, but he also had a great night defense. Not a great night, he had a good night defensively. I mean, no one's gonna have a great night against Luka. Luka just put up 51 points, but he had to pretty much guard Luka most of the game. And there was times when like Luka was not getting frustrated, but kind of getting agitated with him. I forgot to put that on Twitter. But yeah, so that was the word I would use, is agitated, which I saw on Twitter there. All right, so let's go with the four switch standout players for the Spurs on this night. Jakob Poeltl starts 30 minutes, 19 points on 10 shots, 15 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 fouls, no steals, 2 turnovers, and then 0 blocks. But nobody on the team had a block tonight. The team as a whole went with 0 blocks. Keldon Johnson, again, another 30-point night, 36 minutes, 30 points on 19 shots, so an efficient shooting night. 4 rebounds, no assists, 4 fouls, and then great job of no turnovers. Trey Jones ends up going 32 minutes, 18 points on 11 shots, an efficient shooting night for him. 5 rebounds, 6 assists, one foul, and then 2 turnovers for Trey. And then Sohan, 33 minutes starting, guarding Luka most of the night, 20 points on 12 shots. Just again, continuing to be aggressive, attacking the rim. 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 fouls. 1 steal. He actually had the team's only steal. They only had 1 as a whole team, so 1 steal for Jeremy, which was the team high, and then also just 1 turnover. And again, three fouls, considering that he was having to guard Luka, is a pretty good number for him. So those are your 4 standout players for the Spurs. All right, so now 2022 is officially over. I'm recording over kind of in the mountain range. It's not midnight yet, but that's coming soon. So 2023 will be here next week, and the Spurs actually have 4 games next week against some pretty good ball clubs here. I mean, except for one. So let's go through their schedule next week. So on Monday they play. They go back on the road, and they're going to go to Brooklyn to play the Nets, who have the 2nd best record in the Eastern Conference. Then on Wednesday they get to play the New York Knicks in New York. So remember, the Spurs just beat the Knicks recently, so the Knicks will probably try to win this game because they want some revenge for losing that last one. They're 7th in the East. Then on Friday, the Spurs get a game where they might actually be favored. It's rare to see the Spurs favored in a game, but they might be for this one on Friday next week. They get to play. They get to host the Detroit Pistons, who are the last in the Eastern Conference. So Detroit's not very good. And then on Saturday, the Spurs get the best team in the Eastern Conference, the Boston Celtics, and former Spur Derek White come to San Antonio. So have a very safe, happy New Year. I will see you all in 2023 from all of us at Project Spurs. Have a great holiday night. Yes. All right. Have a great one. Thank you.